one of your hosts, Aaron Zimala, and today we are actually going to be talking with Phil Van Drunen from Bikeshop Agency about going live. So if you've ever wondered how we make things look cool on Marketing Tea Time at 222, Phil and Peter are our guys who do that. Now, a quick update about Josh. I know all of you are wondering. I'm actually in Houston right now from the hotel room in Houston right next to the MD Anderson Cancer Center. And I'm in the room that Josh will be in either tonight or tomorrow. He will be released from the hospital pending a few tests, hopefully tonight, but maybe tomorrow. Could be as far out as Monday, but he's doing really, really, really well. He is setting the record for the fastest recovery time from this type of a procedure of anyone ever before. So, yes, that is really, really exciting. But he will be here, and not during our live stream, but he will be here hopefully tonight, and then hopefully by next Friday, you'll be seeing Josh here with me. We do have to stay in Houston for a little while he does some outpatient work, but then after that, we'll be back in Colorado. Now, we are going to introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend, Phil Van Drunen. There he is!
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Here I am.
You look great.
Thank you.
You look fantastic.
Thank you.
Wow.
This is
so
a new experience for me, being on this side of the camera.
Right, and you're doing this from our office in Greeley right now.
That's right. I am in the office at my studio, at my station. Let me see here. I'll give you my messy views.
Ooh, wow, that's fantastic.
And I've got.
I haven't taken a sip yet, guys. I'm putting it to my nose.
Why is your mug all blurry when you moved it forward? Oh.
Wow. We have this new blur thing on right now, and so let's see how good that works.
It's great. It's a weird defect. I don't have that, but.
Right. So.
But I do have.
Oh yeah.
The ability to focus, I suppose.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So the most important part of tea time, though, is the tea.
Oh, right, the tea. I don't have anything to. I'm currently steeping my tea, and I don't have anything to put the basket in. Has it been 4 minutes? Yes, it has.
Okay, what kind of tea do you have, Phil?
I am drinking today Earl of Grey.
Earl of Grey.
Earl of Grey, which is a tea from the Tea Spot, and I'm just. Let me give it a smell here. I'm just recovering from COVID-19. I've done my 14-day quarantine.
Oh yeah.
And I still have not gotten my sense of smell back.
Oof.
So that was apparent. That was one of the early things to go, and it was kind of funny realizing, oh wait a second, I can't smell anything. That's why tea sucks. Green tea, classic.
Yep, green tea from Bigelow. Yes, this is actually from the hotel because they didn't have any other tea, and they had this morning, so I nabbed a few packs.
Are you you're in a hotel then?
I'm in the hotel room. That's where I'm doing this right now.
Okay.
I actually took,
How are your accommodations?
They're great. Let me show you. I took. Let's see. Can you?
No,
see?
It's still in blurry mode.
Okay, so I actually took all the shades off of the lights, and.
Well, that would be why you look so good.
Put them on me so that it hopefully looked a little all right. All right, so Bill,
yes.
You're with Bikeshop Agency, which is
Yes.
fairly new, right?
Yeah. What? It's new?
Yeah, I mean it's as far as like how long it's been around. It's kind of a fairly new entity.
I think it's almost been 2 years.
2 years. We've been
Yeah. Well, since we created the brand. Since we
Okay.
kicked off, kind of started
Right.
this in Denver, which was not what it is now, obviously. Well, I don't know that would be obvious to anyone, but yeah, we've.
Tastes great.
Is it? This tastes like hot water.
Hot water.
Actually, slightly bitter hot water.
Oh man.
Delicious.
Wow. So so you started Bikeshop Agency.
Yep.
been like maybe 2 years
Yep.
since the idea conception and
I'm terrible with dates, so
so 2 years, give or take 3 years.
give or take a year. Yeah.
All right. And what made you start Bike Shop? What was the impetus? What did you want to get out of it?
It was really, I've been in this co-working office space for 11 years, and I've worked for several different a few different companies during that time, doing, outsourced work as a web developer, and
Right.
and I've worked with several of the guys in the office here. And when things took a turn with the company we were working for, we decided, hey, we need to create our own brand and do our own thing. So that's where we came up with Bikeshop Agency. The name is because in the office here we would ride our bikes and park them out front, and people would say,
Oh,
people would
right.
come to the door and they would be like, "Is this a bike shop?" so
Right. Yeah, we had a lot of that.
so so yeah, not very many people riding their bikes right now.
Right. So what's your background? I know you
Yeah,
mentioned a little bit that it's software, but how did that kind of lead into Bike Shop or
I've been doing web development for probably, well, since I was in high school, so 17 years I've been a web developer. Um,
okay.
but I went to school for film and video production and entertainment business. Um, Web development was really easy to fall into. There was a lot of work there. And it's nice to have kind of that 9 to 5 job where you go do the work for 8 hours and then go home. So that's what I
Right.
really ended up doing, was web development instead of,
Okay.
yeah. But I'm not really trained in web development. And most guys you'll find are self-taught because the industry moves really fast.
Right, right. I bet. But it just moves super duper duper fast. Even just with what we do,
Hmm.
I'll log into something and boom, everything has updated and nothing's the same.
Right. Yeah.
Like overnight.
Yeah.
So,
It's constantly
so
changing.
speaking of software then, since you come from a software background, what
Yeah.
what kind of software is needed for live streaming? What do you use for live streaming? What makes it
Yeah.
so
Well, let's just say first the whole purpose for doing live streaming. I had that video production background. When COVID
right?
19 hit, I lost a lot of work from clients that were kind of like, we're going to need to put stuff on hold for now,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
makes sense. They don't want to bleed a bunch of money. But then transition to doing what seemed the logical next thing to do is live streaming. People needed support with technical support with getting live streaming so they could connect. So,
Right.
so I really dug heavily into that starting back in March into what does it look like to live stream? What kind of technology do you need to use? So the tech I'm using right now is called OBS.
OBS.
Yep.
Nice. And what does that stand for?
Open Broadcast System, I think. And it's free and it's open source and it's a great piece of software. There's a really
Okay.
large community behind it. And I also use a product called vMix. That's a paid product, but it's a
Okay.
lot more powerful than OBS. But OBS really serves my needs well, and I like the interface. I
That's
like how
great.
it
And
works.
do you think that to maybe a non-technical person, OBS would be sort of easy to use, or is it technical?
No, it's definitely technical.
Okay.
Streaming is something that you can learn to do. And if you're a technically minded person, it's fairly easy. But if you're not a technically minded person, there's a huge learning curve.
Right.
It's really complex. Just being able to do our conversation right now. There's so many
Right.
components to think about. Like, you have to be able to hear my audio, and the audio has to be recorded. And where does that audio stream come from and go to?
Right.
And how can you see me? And OBS can record. And how can I put this cool frame over the video? Like, there's just a lot of pieces there to have to understand from a hardware level and a software level. Even getting the
Right.
camera, like right now, you could use a webcam. You're using a webcam on a tablet.
Yep.
I'm using a Canon camera hooked up to.
Oh, okay.
I can switch here. Hooked up to a switcher here, which would allow me to switch multiple
Oh,
sources, and that then runs into the computer. And
That's great.
yeah,
Okay.
Mm.
You're able to switch live. That's fantastic.
yeah, it's a cool little piece of hardware. This is the A10 Mini Pro is what I'm using.
Okay. All right. So you dove in a little bit. Is there any other gear that somebody might need in order to do a good live stream, or is it really as simple as like picking up their phone and working with that kind of technology?
Aaron, I think there's all levels, right? It really depends on the production level that you're trying to achieve.
Okay.
And I know that the content, they always say that content is king. And so as long as your audience can hear you and see you well, I think they're pretty forgiving on how you get there. So
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, it just depends on your production level. And I think
Okay.
having a good product though really, I'm gonna watch as long as the video quality and the audio is good. As soon as that kind of loses, as soon as I lose that connection, it's easy to check out. So you don't want to lose your audience by having a bad internet connection.
Right. We've done that a few times before. When we were using the setup that was just the GoPro connected to the app on the iPad, we would lose connection pretty frequently. So that was a little bit not great, but
it's hard to get it right. I mean, there are a lot of pieces between here and there that can go wrong. There's a lot of things that go. If your Wi-Fi goes down, or your internet slows down, or somebody turns on the microwave.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was great because then you came in. You're in our office, and you said, "Hey, let me help you out to actually make this nice and not just a big steaming pile of."
Well, it matters being able to hear well.
Right.
And all of that translates to the audience.
So as far as audiences and the technology goes and just really having something quality, what do you think? Facebook or YouTube? If somebody had to pick, which
what we have found is that YouTube as a platform is solid to stream to. It works just 99% of the time. You show up and it does its thing really well. Facebook is hit or miss, and we've had lots of issues with Facebook in the past. But the thing about Facebook is it has a built-in audience. There are so many people already looking at their phones, and if they follow you on Facebook, they're going to get that notification. Hey, we're live. How many people are watching right now?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They're probably all watching on YouTube, I would think. Yeah, Facebook,
We have 2 watching on YouTube right now.
Okay.
Which is maybe you and me.
Even if a lot of folks aren't watching right now, I love the live format. Just because it's kind of like you get there, you do your thing, you don't get a second shot at it. There's no, I do a ton of video production, so we edit, we shoot for perfection to produce the best product that we can. And it's just really nice sometimes to just put it out there.
Right.
Just create the content, not do all the editing.
It's funny that you bring that up because I actually, last week, my entire marketing tip tea time, it was just me. It was me solo, but it was all about the difference between perfection and procrastination and what the difference was. And in mine, I said really perfection versus procrastination, there's not a huge difference, because a lot of times the little perfection things that people try and pick out, the audience will never notice, right? They'll just never notice. So
I notice everything.
Right.
But that's because I'm a video guy.
To me, perfection is more of an excuse for not sending something out, whether it be because of procrastination or because of low confidence of the quality or of the content. So yeah, that's funny that you bring that up.
And the thing about content is people just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and so you have to constantly be putting new stuff out there. In order to stay relevant. You can't put something out and then wait a couple weeks and put something new out. Right,
exactly. It's got to be constant, new, fresh. Let's see who's actually watching us right now. Whoa, what's that face? What are you looking at?
I don't know. Whatever this comment is on the YouTubes. Or the Facebook. Sorry, the Facebook.
We have a comment on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know. Just as.
I don't see a comment.
What happened? I'm stopped. Oh, okay, I don't know.
Oh, here it is. I see it. I see the comments. Was it my mom? Oh, I see. Oh, there's some. That's weird. I'll just go ahead and delete those. Sorry, everyone. Some weird comment on there. I know my face too, Phil. But who's all watching today? Here, raise your hand or digitally, of course, with a little wave or say who you are. We'd like to say hi to you.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Anyone? I think it's just us today, man.
Josh always tells me I hold my tea really weird. Is this? Sometimes I hold it like this. Is that weird?
Mm-hmm. No, I don't know. It depends if you like to warm up your hand.
Ah, yes, I do like warming up my hand for sure. For sure. Oh, hi, hon. There's my mom. Hi, mom. All right. There are there are two of the three. My wife and my mom. That's great.
That's good. Very good.
You got to start somewhere, right? So
that's right.
Then, there's a difference. Obviously, I'm remote right now. I'm in Houston.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between having a live production where everything is in the same area, like we're all in the studio, versus being all over the world? Like what's the difference?
We have seen it all during COVID, haven't we? Like broadcast television has people on Zoom or Skype or FaceTime, and it just looks terrible and sounds terrible, but they're a celebrity. I mean, I've seen it all, and in this time, like folks are just trying whatever they can to stay connected, and they're using whatever technology is available.
Right. Exactly.
I think the audience is forgiving because they're kind of like, yep, that's what it is. So I don't expect a satellite uplink when they talk to whoever. Now it's just kind of talking on the phone. We have struggled through our own challenges. We created a show first when COVID started called the Greeley Station Theater Presents Digital Grid Players Go Live. And that was really like the first dive into, okay, how can we pull people from all around the world to do a live comedy show? And it was challenging. First of all, we had to figure out how do we actually pull those video feeds into the software? How do we get the right software that people all can connect and their videos are fast enough to keep up? Like, there's just a lot of challenge there. In our case, we ended up using Skype because Skype allows us to pull the video feeds out of the software and put it into OBS.
So no other communication platform like Zoom or Google Hangouts, they don't allow you to do that.
Now, Microsoft Teams and Skype allow what's called an NDI video source output. But Zoom, you'll see a lot of Zoom, and what they'll do usually is they'll crop out the video, or they'll just stream the Zoom screen.
They'll just stream the Zoom screen directly.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen that with a lot of programs. So folks, and Zoom does a great job. I'd love to use Zoom, but I find that Skype is a lot more flexible for what we want to do with our interface.
Right.
Hey, guy.
Okay. That's somebody waving to you through the hole?
No, it's just somebody wandering around back there.
Wandering around. So then, okay, so you can pull basically anybody in from anywhere in the entire world then with this type of technology and make it look nice. I mean, I think that we look nice.
Yeah,
how we're set up here.
The uplink, their internet connection is really the key there.
Okay.
So as long as you've got a decent enough computer, laptop, iPhone, whatever the device is, I can set up a Zoom or a Skype call and pull you into a video just like we're having right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was honestly worried, are we going to be able to do this? I'm all the way in Houston.
Yeah.
And we made it work, and I wasn't sure, honestly, if this was going to work or not, just because I've never been on this side of the link, right? I've always been in the studio with your stuff. And really, there's Peter. Hi, Peter.
Aaron says hi.
So then, how how should our viewers, if you were to give them a bit of advice, which is, obviously it might be a little bit, what should I say, biased, your opinion on this, but should somebody really be looking at just getting out there, building their brand, doesn't really matter how they do it, just whip out their phone and start going? Or is it better for them to have more of a long-term plan where they have somebody like you, like hiring an agency to help them with figuring out, like run of show, getting some of these stingers down? What do you think is more valuable for people?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you're after. But I think what we're doing right now is really setting ourselves up to help people create content, and and that's our goal ultimately, is just to have, because the technology, like, there's so many things that can go wrong in setting that up. So yeah, I've worked with organizations to help them set up their streaming and figure out all the tech for that, and then just let them have it. Go from there. But also, we're setting up just to support folks. Hey, set up a time. You can remotely call in. We'll produce your whole program remotely, and just take all of.
Thanks, Daniel. By the way, thank you, Daniel, he just commented.
Nice. But just take all of that headache. Even if you wanted to do, because right now you don't want to be in the same room, but you want to record a podcast and you want to have guests on your show. That's really what we're here to do, is to help folks facilitate that kind of production.
Right. So you're basically, I know that trying to figure out the technology for live streaming is a ton of brain power. You've got to set up stream keys and do all this technology stuff. And honestly, if you're a content creator, really, like we're trying to be right now, you don't have time necessarily to think about all the technical stuff. What I have to worry about is, what am I going to ask the people we have on the show? How are we going to coordinate tea? How are we going to look? Getting the creative ideas behind the content, and that takes a lot of brain power in and of itself. And we also take each marketing tip tea time that we film, and then we make an article off of it. So with that, I just don't have enough brain power.
So you're saying there's a lot of work to create content.
Right. And so then I don't have brain power at the end of the day to figure out, like, how are we actually going to get up and look on the screen. And so that's something that you do, right? That's something that you just take care of. I don't ever have to actually think about it, which is great. You tell me what to do. I'm just like, Phil, whatever you want. And boom, you get it figured out.
Yeah. If you look at the way we've got this program set up right now, you've got your little Zova logo and your whole background. Peter did an incredible job on the graphics
Peter
package.
Did amazing. And Peter also figured out how to stream both to YouTube and to Facebook at the same time.
Well, the nice thing about having fiber to the building now, which is that was a lot of work to get that here, to make that happen. But now that we've got fiber optic coming to the building, that upload stream is not restricted. So if you've got a powerful enough computer like we do, I can push to YouTube and to Facebook and more all at the same time without paying for an additional service to do that, which is what a lot of folks have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That fiber is fantastic.
It's different than the kind you need in your diet.
Yeah. Right. This is fiber optic cables for internet.
Yep.
Not fiber. So.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. If you're streaming from home, and even if you're on broadband cable internet, the upload speed is so restricted, just because of the way that the system is built, that it's sometimes hard to get a good high enough upload speed to get a good looking video.
Right. So how fast is the internet at the office?
We have what's called 500 megabits per second symmetrical. So we get 500 up and 500 down. The way cable internet is set up, when most folks have at their house, they can get high-speed downs, like 300 megabits per second down, which is more than you'll ever need. But the upload speed is still really restrictive. So sometimes you get like 5 megabits per second up to 10 megabits per second. I mean, there's a huge difference between download and upload, and that's why
Right.
you end up having issues with all these classrooms that are doing at home Zoom classroom stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I can't have two kids doing a Zoom call at the same time.
Right.
Well, it's because your upload speed is really limited,
That makes sense.
and other things like somebody turned on the microwave.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
I think I've got it figured out, and my wife still, we still have issues at home.
Really?
With our,
wow.
yeah.
So then you just
I know,
run to the
me.
office and work off of that.
Yeah.
So, with all the setup
Yep.
that you're talking about, and all
Yep.
of these different technical parameters, creative parameters that you want to have going into a show,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think are the things that somebody who wants to get started, what do they need to have up front before they even talk to an agency or even press the record button? What are the things they have to think about first?
In terms of content?
In terms of content or technology, or what you might need from them if they
Yeah,
go
if you
to
come talk to me, you don't need much. I've got all of the tools to produce a show.
Right.
But you do need to think about the content. You do need to think about the if you're going to have guests on the show, where they're going to be coming from. And we do a lot of work with folks to make sure they've got the technology. If you need you're going to do it with a phone. You're going to do it in our studio, all COVID safe, by the way. We'll
Right.
physically distance. We have a whole studio in the basement here that we can run
Right.
all of the show from up here, and the talent can be downstairs. But yeah, you need to really focus on the content of your program.
Okay. And you had us fill out what's called a run of show.
Yeah.
Is that something you recommend everybody does?
Yep. We've done a lot of, so there's not a lot of events that are happening. A lot of in-person events have been canceled. So people who are doing festivals or fundraisers will come to us. And that's a really big, important thing that we talk about. Okay, let's talk about the content that's going to be in the show. Let's talk about what goes first, what goes second, what goes third. What's going to be the transitions in between those. And that helps us determine what graphical elements need to be created ahead of time. And if we need, theme music, intro graphics, video pieces. Yep.
Yeah.
We recently did, let me play this here. Oh, this is,
yes.
and turn that down. But this is like a live stream that we just recently did. And yeah, one of the things we had to think about was, what are all of the graphical elements? So when you start the live stream, we've got some, intro video and intro graphics and things like that.
Ah, that looks nice.
Say what the show is. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Peter does all of the graphics work. A little video introduction from the president of the organization, and then transition that into the live program. So not everything has to be live. Some of it can be, pre-recorded and then streamed live or just uploaded. But there's something really electric about doing a live program like we did.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
But this is a replay of that.
It looks really good.
Yeah, we were really happy
you're
with that.
streaming in 1080 here?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, we're streaming with 1080p. We have 3 DSLR cameras that we're using and running those fiber optic to a switcher. That's pretty cool. We'll set up.
Fiber optic.
Yeah.
Fancy. Fancy.
Yeah, when you run a long distance.
Can you throw up just a screen share of what our run of show looks like? I guess the one we're maybe on currently? I don't know. It's if you have it up.
Sure. Like this guy here, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's it. Yeah, so it goes through time length and transitions and things like that. So that looks, yeah.
That gives us an idea of how long the program's going to be, how long each element of the program's going to be. We're probably pushing 22 minutes here, aren't we?
Yeah.
20 minutes?
We're
30 minutes?
We're about out of time.
Oh my goodness. We really
So
went
to
long.
wrap up,
Yeah.
Phil,
Mm-hmm. Oh, hang on. I got to go back to...
2 quick questions for you.
Yeah.
One, if I want to go full shebang with Bikeshop, I want everything. I want all
the
your
whole
people
package.
on board, I want everything. What as a cost, like what do you expect that to be like?
I mean, it depends. We're really great at making estimates for folks, but yeah, it depends on what kind of production we're doing. I think everything averages about $100 an hour, though. So
Okay,
if you were to
that's
do
not bad.
yeah, no, if you wanted to do a call like this, and you wanted to set up, a graphics package, that's going to be additional cost for the time to produce that graphics package. But if you wanted to do
Right.
a program like we're doing, and it takes an hour from setup to being complete, that's a pretty reasonable price to get your program
Wow.
produced. You could have your guests being over Zoom, and you could be over Zoom, or sorry, Skype. You could be on Skype. Your guest could be on Skype. You could have multiple guests. So that's pretty reasonable.
That's awesome. And so then how many, so here is another question before we wrap up that
Yeah. Yeah.
I always ask, which is what are the top 3 things that you would recommend something like someone absolutely has to be doing for their live streams? Like top 3 do's, top 3 don'ts.
Come prepared. Be really well prepared. I
Right.
could have done a much better job of preparing for for this, right?
Right.
I always tell, it doesn't matter what production it is. We put more time into pre-production than we do into any other, part of the show, because it's going to cost you way less to put all the time in up front than try to fix it later. So, so that first content is key. So work on all of that in pre-production and come really well prepared.
Okay.
Second thing, you need to do a test run. And
That's important.
when you do your test run, you need to use the same exact gear and equipment and location that you are going to use in the production. Because as soon as you change one element, we had a show and I said, everybody, you need to use exactly the same equipment and setup as you did in the rehearsal. And somebody showed up with different headphones, and it was
Right, I remember that.
and it caused a huge issue.
Yep.
And
So then a don't would be, after you've done a rehearsal, don't change anything.
don't change anything.
Don't change any of the
Don't
technology. Got it.
That's right.
All right.
Yep.
Number 3.
Number 3, and the third important thing, be concise. Don't be long-winded.
We have a little bit of trouble with that here here on Marketing Tip Tea Time. Okay.
Yeah, this content is great. I mean, it's good for, I can put it in the background while I'm doing other work, because I think there's so many pieces of information in here, just like anything else. Like, yeah, I know it went long, but when you start to be in the room with somebody who knows something different than you start to learn the terminology. You start to learn all these little breadcrumbs that help you along the way in producing your content. So I have to apologize if it looks like I'm looking just off camera. It's because I am. I'm looking just to the right of the camera. My eyes.
That's great.
Sure. Anyways.
Well, I think we learned a lot today about live streaming and what you do
Maybe.
for Zova and what you can do for other people.
I hope so.
I learned a lot. I mean, I think that your tips at the end, and pretty much everything was just
Oh, thanks, Aaron.
gold.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to be on and talk about
Marketing.
live streaming.
Yes, we love it. And again, everybody, if you're watching, we exclusively use Bikeshop Agency for all of our live streaming. That's Phil Van Drunen and Peter Romero, who help us to create everything you see on screen, from the transitions, any audio that you are seeing, any video, any of the graphics in the background, all thanks to Peter Romero. We are very thankful for them and everything that they have done for us. They've really, really done a fantastic job. So if you need any live streaming, whether it's in person or remote, be sure to reach out to Bikeshop Agency. Go to their website, which they're showing on the screen right now.
Yeah, there you are in the header.
There I am. Bikeshop.agency is what you want to go to, and reach out to Phil or Peter, and they'll be able to take care of you right away.
That's right.
Well, that's the end of our show again. we will be back next Friday for another Marketing Tip Tea Time at 2:22 with another guest and hopefully our other co-host, Josh French. I'm hoping we get to see him. That'll be really exciting. Thank you everyone for all of the wonderful support you've given us. You have watched the show, you've subscribed, you've done all sorts of things that have really, really helped us out. And we love all of you. Thank you for subscribing to our newsletter. Thank you for reading and reaching out about Josh and all of his updates. We're super appreciative of it.
Yep.
And thanks for being part of the Zova fam. So, Phil.
All right. This time I'm going to do the transit. Oh, is there something we have to say?
Time.
Hang on. 2 up.
Click.
Wait, oh.
No stavi.
You know, it's too hard to be on the show and get the transitions right.
You're good.
Hang on. Okay, hang on. Let's get this right. I don't want to.
All right.
Okay, we have to say no stravi, and then what?
Yes. So I just say, thank you for watching another Marketing Tip Tea Time at 2:22, and until next time.
Nostravi.
No stravi.
All right.